Today's episode, entrepreneurs Adrienne, Gabby, Gurneet, and Ken talk about high standards and accountability, which is the foundation of strong leadership. They share how holding a standard and coaching through numbers and culture helps create clarity, ownership, and growth within a team. It's all about setting clear expectations and leading by example.
All right, happy Tuesday. Welcome to the Raise Your Game leader calls that we've been doing the last few weeks. Just want to give everybody a quick heads up. Next Tuesday, there will be no call. A lot of people are going to R&R next week in Mexico and Puerto Vallarta. So just a heads up on that one. We have some big time speakers. We got her locked down for November 11th. Just so you know, and we're ironing out more speakers after next week, getting into late October and early November. But Gurneet, I'm going to turn the floor over to you. You set up this call. We got some superstar females. Yeah, they wanted to play the Waka Waka song from the World Cup, and maybe it's AP and I and a few other owners went to the 2022 World Cup in Qatar. So she's like, "What's that song that they were playing all in the World Cup and we were over in Qatar?" And so Waka Waka, and I'm a little biased to Shakira because she is Colombian. So over to you, Gurneet. Over to you,
What's
Gurneet.
what's up, guys? Hope everybody's doing well. Today we have a jam-packed call, guys. Guys, one thing I do want to mention though, encourage the other leaders to be on these calls, take notes, talk about it in your offices. If after the call, if you guys can go in your group me or whatever chat you guys use to put feedback about the call or what you took from it, I think the more engagement we have, the better. Today we have two powerhouse owners, obviously. Gabriel just got promoted, but Adrienne Petticourt's been a really good friend of mine. She's been one of the top owners in the business. We went on the top 10 trip together. I think we were at the Super Bowl, right? Yeah, we were at the Super Bowl together. We have a very good relationship, and I know that she's one of the most powerful owners that I've met. She was someone that I followed when I first came into the business, and talk about someone that has high standards, leads from the front, is on EDM now, and as an owner is in the field all the time, leading the way. So she's going to be talking about high standards, accountability, kind of give you guys an overview of how to coach your guys through the numbers and team culture to drive the productivity. So Adrienne, floor's yours.
Thank you so much. Hi, everybody. So excited to be on. I appreciate you trusting me to come on today on your valuable time. So I'll try to drop some wisdom here. So thank you so much. So today they wanted to talk about leadership, but through holding a standard and coaching through numbers and culture. So first off, every great team has really great standards that don't bend when it's inconvenient. I remember back in 2020, I think it was just the $1 million club. To do $1 million in business is a big deal. And I was sitting at breakfast with Vera and I think Rich, and it was just me and Tarek. Like, that's it. And I remember one of them asking me, like, what was it that you did? I just didn't change my standard just because we had to be 6 feet apart, just because, the pandemic was going on. But we accommodate. We kind of upped our standards and adapted to meet the standards. So standards don't rise when people feel motivated. They rise when leaders refuse to lower them. Does more growth happen when people are comfortable or when there's accountability? So my first thing I want to go over is standards. It's the foundation of leadership. So standards are what is absolutely required to keep your job. I feel like people forget that. Standards is like, hey, standard, bare minimum of what we have to do to receive interviews, to earn responsibility, to keep our job. So it's something that is not optional. The first step as a leader is creating very clear expectations and setting them. So high standards aren't just about numbers all the time either. That includes attendance, punctuality, being active, bringing value to the culture in the office, out of the office, bringing value to the team, attitude, and consistency. I do my own onboarding just so I can set the tone for this for new guys and new girls coming into the business. The higher expectation that we set, the better your people will rise. It's how they show up, how they treat people, how they take their role, how seriously they take their role. If it's not completed, we don't reward it. And leadership is an opportunity to prove that we're trustworthy. I remember taking that very serious amount of Corey Capone's office in Cincinnati. And it's like, I realized these people that he has in his office, these amazing humans, he is trusting me with them. And so are they. They're trusting me with their future and where they're going and what they're doing. They're just trusting my vision. And that comes with time. We have to earn that, right? It's not, my title doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how long I've been here. It's something that's earned. So first is trust and replication under the standards. I'm trying to figure out who I can trust with my people, because who I can partner with the rest of my life. This business, if you haven't noticed, is a family. We become so close, like godparents. And, I have someone living with me. Ken's office just left. I think I've had people, my house has been basically an Airbnb since May 11th. And we've had people staying here ever since then, every week. And then Jason Nichols sending someone in next week. So it's just like, we love that though. That's what it is. It becomes family, and it has to be something that we take very seriously. I cannot work with someone if I cannot trust them, because this isn't a temporary thing. It's long term. So it's someone also too, it is numbers. We get a production, keeps the roof over our head, it pays our bills. So I look at what somebody does. If someone's at 200 Sunday through Thursday or Friday, and then they are counting on one store, one specific day, they go out, they make $2,000. Good job. Great job hustling, getting that done. But I'm not going to have them train. I'm not going to trust them with my people. Why? Because it's not replicable. It's not, I don't want my people to be store dependent or day dependent. So it's something I'm going to give somebody who hits alpha every week, 1,200, 1,500, whatever it may be in your market or office. And I'm going to make sure that consistency is recognized by trusting them with the team, giving them an opportunity to teach someone else and coaching them through that if need be. So reliability beats potential every time. And consistency is the truest form of integrity. Also, one thing that I do is I also use the DISC assessment, which tells us, personality types, and it gives the new candidate an opportunity to be able to say, hey, this is how I need to be coached. This is what I need from you. And it gives the leaders an opportunity to beat them to it and understand how they need to be coached. It was something that saved my career. I'm very assertive, very direct, very blunt. So it helps me help them. And it helps my leaders coach with intention and not assumption. So moving on to accountability. There's accountability through numbers, which is coaching without emotion. We all know that the numbers remove emotion. They tell a story. They're not there to judge, they're there to coach. So we track everything. Recruiting, I track it, very detailed. Very detailed. I can filter it. I can search which ads are working. I know where every dollar of everything in my business is going. And I do that the same with numbers, production in the field, my team, who's on time. I notice that people, when they're early and when they stay late. So numbers teach confidence and ownership. When people can read their own numbers, they can identify gaps, they can self-correct, and that's development. There's power in that. Good leaders do not tell people what to do. They teach them how to think. If I can teach someone how to think, there's power in that. That builds confidence. And also my phone's not blowing up every 2 seconds. I'm not the help button as the leader. So what's our numbers telling us? Activity metrics, so what we do day to day, that's the effort and consistency. The conversion metrics are the skills and how effective they are. And the retention metrics are the leadership and the culture, all measured by tracking data and numbers. And I stay on that more than anything else, because I'm not coaching blindly, I'm coaching intentionally. And intention leads to what our culture becomes. So my next point is culture drives productivity. Culture isn't pizza parties or bowling nights. It's fun. We went sang karaoke last night. One of my guys turned into Drake, after 10 minutes of having a mic in his hand. And it was fun. But culture is what people do, what they choose to do when I'm not watching. And I see that in how they show up day to day. The transformation. A positive culture is going to drive self-accountability. It's going to be something that we become a product. We know this. We become a product of 5 to 7 people we spend the most time around. So I don't let bullshit linger too often in my company, because we're only as strong as that. And we don't know who and how they're going to be influenced by it. So our environment must reflect growth, positivity, and professionalism. When I wasn't on high rollers in Corey's office, he did not have to call me out. I felt inside embarrassed and just like, oh, I'm better than this. I should be on high rollers. I know better. I know exactly what I did. I look at my numbers. I see my gap. I should have stayed this extra hour. I shouldn't have left early. I should have worked this extra time. I should have been more intentional with my pitch. I shouldn't have gone through the motions. I promised myself, no, I'm never going to not be on that high roller list again. Too painful. So a part of this too, with this professionalism, and I had to learn this being very direct and assertive, we build these rituals of recognition to shout out leaders and build them up. That is much more effective than making people feel bad in front of everybody. So we build, and Ken especially, he's nodding like, yeah, I've talked to you about this a lot. We build in public and we break down in private. Side conversations. That is huge for culture. It also builds trust, and they'll be more open. Reinforce the recognition is earned through that consistency. It's not luck. It's not favoritism. It's not one day of doing amazing. It's consistency. And if we call that out consistently, then they're more encouraged to be consistent. The next one, as our job as leaders, we need to speak the vision and build bigger perspective. Remember that everyone comes into your business only with perception. Perception is viewing the world the way we are, not the way it is. So based on past experiences, what they know, it is not perspective from our point of view. So in order to do that, it's our job to build the vision, paint the picture, expose the team. It really does blow my mind when I walk into an office, I'm like, what's your goal? What are you trying to push for? And they don't know. They don't know what the office is moving towards. Therefore, they don't know their individual role or what they're supposed to be doing or what they're pushing towards. And that's huge. People need to see past Columbus. I love my office, but they need to understand the why behind what we do, the expansion, the growth, the opportunities beyond our current role. And a lot of people don't know their current role. That's our job. Hey, you're really great at this. Thanks for bringing the energy. People are just drawn to you. Can you do me a favor? When we're in atmosphere, when we're practice pitching, can you kind of just like go around, ask how everyone's day is? Your energy is contagious. You just told them what their role was without telling them what their role was by pointing out their strength. So again, having people, I'm bringing business trips in. I'm super grateful. They can stay here all day, every day. I'm trying to plan a trip to Ken's office. I don't know if you know, I talked to Taylor this morning, so we're just doing it behind your back, but I'm going to Ken's. I want to go to Ken's office. I want to go to Tennessee, and see another owner. I want to go all over because that opens them up. It networks them into the bigger picture. They earn that. And we have to care about their goals because people, and this is common too, but it's so simple. People don't care how much I know. They don't care how long I've been here. They don't care about my awards, my crystals. They don't give a shit about that. They care how I make them feel. And they only care how much I know after they know how much I care about them. That is the biggest thing. I got everything that I have had in this business and will continue by solely, I have a vision in my head that I'm pushing towards, of course, for me and my family. I only hit that by helping everyone else hit it. Whatever it looks like for them. Not everyone wants what I want. Not everyone wants to be senior national executive consultant, create a new level, a tier, and change the world. That's not everybody's. Some people just want to break the ball and chain of the history of their family, provide for somebody, whatever it is, and their goals will level up. But I became an owner because I loved who I was becoming. I saw changes in myself, positive changes, how I was talking to myself and to others at the same time. So show up for people consistently. We have to believe in them sometimes. Two of my owners were like, do you really think I can do this? One of them, I slammed on my brakes in the middle of a road trip back from Chicago, probably in the it looked like a murder scene. It was like cows and fields because we took a wrong turn. Anyway, I made him get out of the car because there was other people sleeping in the car. And I I pulled him as close as I could. And I said, do you believe it? And I said, tell me I'm wasting my time. Am I wasting my time? Because what do you mean? I've seen that in you since like your week 1. Do you not see it? Because if you don't see it, it doesn't matter what I think. And he's like, damn, really? And I'm like, yes, what are we moving for? Why do you think I'm teaching you these things? We got back and he moved different after that because he knew I believed in him. So the biggest thing that I've learned mainly from Ken too, you want to be the example as much as you can. So in 6 to 12 months from now, you can look back and when your team comes to you and says, Gurneet, what do I do? AP, what do I do? Gabby, what do I do? You can smile at them and say, well, what did you see me do? What did I do? What do you think you should do? When we were in this position, remember this, how did we move together? What did we do? There is so much power in that, being involved in everything. So the final piece is building a strong core. Building a strong core to your team is crucial. We have to be 180% involved. Our business is 1,000% all day, every day, as long as it takes to build the core. And then from there, you delegate, you create other people that can move, walk, talk, that you know will run it exactly how you do. Whether it's a team, a day-to-day, it could be as simple as a crew day. You already know they're going to pick the right topics. But we have to be involved in order to replicate that. They don't know. It's the blind leading the blind if we're not. So be systematic in the field. Recruiting, there has to be structure. There has to be no emotion. And we have to be honest and transparent because we're human. Ask my guys how many times I fail. I fail forward. I fail more than I succeed. Literally. And I tell them straight up, I screwed this up. I did this wrong. A lot of times they're like, well, did you try this? Collaboration is huge, especially if you have a team under 15. Some of the best ideas come from my team. I'm never going to tell them no. And if I do, there's going to be a why behind it that I explain. It's a we thing, not an I thing. So the pride that comes from winning is from building something together. It's a culture that carries forward, that replicates. I'm sure Gabby moves the same way Gurneet did because that's the culture he created. That's all she knows. And being in the trend, if you're small and you're like, I just can't see past it. I just have 1 or 2 people. It's only me. That's okay. That's the best part. You're in the trenches with them. Those are the stories. If you guys ever get around Ken, Michael Sessions, Andy, Brandy, they're telling stories. You don't even know what the hell they're saying, but you're laughing so hard by their half-assed stories of field experiences together. That's what creates that bond. You're in the trenches together. It's like guys at war. There's just a bond that can't be broken, right? So to raise the standard, you have to raise the person. People want to feel and be a part of something right now more than ever. They don't want to be a number. They want to know they're important, that what they're doing matters. Involve everyone. Book club, involve them all. Crew night, and invite everybody. It doesn't matter if they're on your team. Invite everybody. Half of my moving crew wasn't on my team. Sometimes we have to tell them what their strengths are. They've never heard that before. So we have to be the big brother and the big sister and just stay genuine. Thank you guys for your time. That's what I have.
Love it. Thank you, Adrienne. I'm going to jump in, Gurneet. I want to highlight a few things she said. I put some notes down. By the way, Adrienne, since the beginning of running her business, how many years in a row have you run $1 million company, Adrienne?
7.
7. And this is the first year I'm crushing her. I'm so proud of myself.
We still got Q4. I don't even know why you're getting cocky.
I had to say it. It's only every year. She's the only.
Is this recorded? I just want to make sure this is recorded. Okay. All right. Yeah, it is. Okay.
Every year I've talked shit to her. Every year she's beat me. I think I got her this year. I think. I don't know. I'm praying. All right, so Adrian, you're amazing. You know that. So I want to say a few things. So culture and standards is not what you say. It's what people see. I have owners I talked to this week, business owners, people inside and outside of our business, people that, ask me for my perspective on things. And totally one person completely out of our business in construction. And I told him this, your level of excellence as the owner of the company will be reflected in the people you choose, in your vendors, in the people that represent you, inside or outside of your business. And this is, again, this person I'm thinking about is nowhere in sales at all. But culture and standards is not what you say, it's what people see. It's what you allow. What you allow is essentially who you are. So if you're a type of person and you're an owner in this call, you're a leader, and you say the standards are $700, blah, 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 and then your top quote unquote person is off standards for weeks, the question is, are the standards real? And everyone is watching at that moment. If it's conditional standards, it's not a standard, right? So talk to your leadership, talk to people that you get guidance by on how to set standards. It is vital. She said something about should. I should be doing this. I should be doing that. Stop shoulding all over yourself. People say they should do this or that all the time. Do it. Nike, just do it. Just do it. Your actions speak so loudly. We can't hear what you're saying. And then lastly, I love what she said about her crystals because she has a ton of them, from recognition, from running top offices, from helping others run their own businesses. She's had numerous people make six figures working in her company because she chose to walk away from the medical field in her mid to late 20s when she was also making six figures because she didn't want to be on call 24/7. She wanted more freedom. She chose to go do door to door sales in Cincinnati after having, how many master's degrees you have, Adrienne?
I have 2 bachelor's, 1 master's.
Okay, so 3 more degrees than a lot of people. That's for sure. And she went through the field, has done amazing. But keep in mind, the people that start in her business today don't care. They don't care what you did in your past. Gurneet, no disrespect, he's got an awesome business. The new start yesterday doesn't care what he did last year. Hardest thing for me to realize 20 some years into my career, when this whole EDM thing was just getting started, when I personally went in the field and did what I had to do, and I still do it today, because people don't care what you did 10 years ago. They don't care what you did 6 months ago. All they care is what you're doing for them now, how you show up today, how you show up with excellence, how you treat them, how much you serve and give, how prepared you are, right? So don't get caught up in what you've done in your past because your future will be affected what you do now. What you did back then, it got you to now. What you do now is going to get you where you want to go. So just remember the crystals, the highlights, the highlight reels, they're amazing. Put them in your VHS tapes, put them on your CDs, put them in your cassette tapes and listen to the music. It doesn't matter and what's happening next. Just remember, don't get caught up in your past. Do things now. Gurneet, over to you, buddy. Thank you, AP. You're awesome.
Yeah, AP, that was so awesome for everybody to hear. And guys, look, one thing I will say, coaching becomes easier when you are actually doing the standard and saying what you're doing. People are more prone to listen to you when you're credible with anything that you tell them to do, that you're doing it also.
Gurneet, they're
And
not going to listen. Let's be real. If you're
yeah,
saying something you're not doing, they're just looking at you like cross-eyed. They're like, okay, you're not doing it. Why am I? And that's the hardest part about ownership. People are like, you should go to the field as a rookie owner. You should blah, blah, blah. Well, you're not. Guess what's going to happen when they don't, when they get promoted? They're not,
correct.
right? Hardest part. Hi, Mikey.
So yeah, So talking about, somebody leading from the front, and I'm really excited for this one because, Gabby was in my business for around 15 months. I think she high rolled office majority of the time in those 15 months, and she set the standard and the bar really high, and it kind of followed through her team and through her culture. And she recently got promoted. She's looking at a 20 to $25,000 first wire, which is phenomenal. So Gabby, obviously, you've just got promoted, but you kind of ended up doing a lot of these things before you got promoted, and the team followed you in Connecticut. Talk to us about someone's on this call right now, is building a team and it's pushing because you were just in their shoes just a few months ago, a few weeks ago. What are you doing with your team to really drive the standards and hold your team accountable? What are some of the things that you're doing on a day-to-day basis till now?
Yeah, what's up, guys? Happy Tuesday. I'm happy to be on this call. I think, one of my biggest things is, what I did really good at was, holding my like everybody on my team, holding them accountable. And it's because of like the standards I set for not only myself, but just for us as a team. It's not, I know AP touched on it, but it's not just like what you say you're going to do. Oh, I'm going to make X amount of money this week. I'm going to drop X amount of lines. Whatever the goal is or you think you have, it's about putting your actions, and actually coming through your word. I think, a lot of people struggle with team building is because, they don't hold like the credibility and don't live up to what they preach. So I think, as your team building, when new starts are coming in, your guys are going to do most likely 80% of what you do wrong and 20% of what you do right. So I tried my best every day, whether it was me showing to the office with the most energy, me posting in the chat at 6 a.m., me running, me going to yoga, first one in the field, first to set the pace, first to just really set that standard. I always tried to do the right thing. And I think it was so much easier for me to coach my guys because when you have that credibility, they have some sort of like respect for you where they will listen to you. If you can't be telling somebody, oh yeah, you should be doing this, like this is your goal, and then you're doing half of that, like that guy is not going to listen to you. He's not going to want to listen to you. So I think when you're coaching through numbers, you gotta like whatever your standard is, your guys are probably going to do half of that. So if you're making like $2,000 a week, your guys are probably going to just be like maybe hitting alpha, maybe 1,500. So really setting that right example. And the moment I joined this business, all I kept hearing was this is an example, like lead by example business. So I think having that in mind, I was like, okay, I know I'm disciplined. I know I have a lot of energy. I know I have awesome work ethic. Like, why would somebody not want to follow me if I'm doing the right things?
Gurneet, can I add something? Because obviously, Gabby, I've gotten to know you a little bit through the program and things. And what I've been most impressed by is some, I forget when it was, you had reached out about something and I said, hey, what's your plan? When do you get to the office? What are you doing first thing tomorrow? And it's like you're up in the morning working out, you're in your self-care stuff, super disciplined with your health, right? And keep me honest here, maybe I'm crazy, but it was like 5:30, 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 8 o'clock, whatever. And then you're getting the office at 8 a.m. You're doing your thing. You're dropping $2,000, $3,000 a week in business, and you're hanging out with the guys. And so many people are like, "Oh, I don't have time for this. I don't have time for that." And in 7, 8 months, you get promoted to assistant manager. Under 16 months, 15 months, you're running your own office. How old are you, by the way?
24.
24 years old, and first wire 25,000. Like it to me it's like no shit. Of course it's what's happening because of you mentioned the word discipline. You are incredibly disciplined with yourself. So the standards and the communication you have with your team, it's how you hold yourself, right? Am I crazy right now? Am I thinking about somebody else?
No, no, 100%. I mean, like what you just said, that just describes the day in the life as me, but it's not what you do from the schedule 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. It's what you do outside from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. and then afterwards from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Like that's what made me be able to like flourish in this business and really take off. It's these little things that people miss it got me ahead of the game. You know, like my guys, if I'm in the field dropping like 10 lines a day, but I'm the first one up at like 6 a.m. running 3 miles, like there's no excuse. Like your guys are gonna look after what you do. And I think just, you know, you have to have that certain level of like credibility if you want people to listen to you, take your advice, take your feedback, and no, like also just follow you, you know?
Yeah, there's a quote, Gurneet. I don't know if you heard this one, that people are getting it done in the same environment that you're making excuses about. Let that one sit in. I was like, I mean, that's like, you know, we had some changes on EDM recently with pricing. Oh, the $3. It's like, dude, really? That $3 has changed your world? Exactly. That tells me where you're at. Know what I mean? So, anyways, over to you, Gurneet.
Yeah, and Gabby, you know, it's funny that you said that because you know you always had a really disciplined schedule, but correct me if I'm wrong. Do you still when you were with your guys, you were spending and calling your guys and setting up a game plan, and you were coming in early in the morning at 8 a.m. to set up workshops to get ahead of the game. And you still find ways till now, obviously, as an owner, you're spending around 3, 4 days a week with your guys and continuing your discipline schedule. Can you talk a little bit about how guys can game plan up and get ahead by just doing a little bit extra, just planning the night before, just making sure what they can prepare for the day after?
Yeah, I would say I'm the probably like one of my biggest strengths is being the most organized and structured person. You know, I don't just wake up and just go about my day. Like I know what I'm doing at this hour and with this person. So if this is something you're struggling with, I think, you know, especially as you're team building, I think when you have two people, you kind of are trying to figure out, you know, who to call. It's not that many, but when you're trying to really hit that goal of assistant manager or just trying to develop your team, you know, who you spend your time with and who you put your energy to is probably the most important. So I think like Tuesdays, if you guys don't plan out your week, I would plan out your week on Tuesdays. Just see like everything is like through numbers. Like let's say someone on your team like is a normally a high producer and they're not like hitting like they didn't hit standards for 1 week. Like that's a guy, that's like a 911. Like something maybe is happening outside the field. Like, you know, I'm not gonna talk to him while I'm working in the field. I'm gonna take him out to dinner, or maybe I'll meet with him after the field, do something with him to spend time with your guys. I'm very systematic when it comes to my schedule. Like I got in detail schedule like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and I just have every day like what I need to do. You know, it starts with 6 a.m. run, workshop, and my workshop that morning is going to be based on what we did the day before. Let's say a lot of my guys like did not close the day before. I'm not really going to come in the office and run like a sales workshop. That's probably the last thing they want to hear. I'm gonna run something on like bringing the energy, like what leadership means, you know, big picture. Or if they're doing really good, like some of my guys are absolutely crushing it right now. This is the time I'm gonna spend time with them in the morning to like nitpick things that we can improve on as a team. This is the time that, you know, they're at a high. This is the time that they're probably gonna be more prone to take feedback and not feel like bad about it. So I think if you guys are, you know, struggling with like figuring out your schedule and stuff, there's time for everything that's important. But it's up to you, like how much you procrastinate. Like I get shit done. And that's one thing that I will take pride in is like if it's on my schedule from whatever it is, 6 a.m. and I have due numbers at like 9 p.m., I'm getting that done. That way the next day I'm not stressed, I'm not overwhelmed, and I know I had a productive day. And I can go into the field like knowing, okay, I just did my morning, I got all that shit done. Now it's my time in the field, 1 o'clock to 7. I'm just focused on the field. It's hard to like produce and stuff when you are like your mind is in 10, 15 different directions. So you got to get organized, especially when you're team building.
Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff, guys. Look, I mean, organization, having a plan of attack. Guys, what AP said, what Ken said. Again, the main objective and the main character in all of this is you. And as long as you do it and you're credible and you're following the standard, the team will follow. And thank you, Adrienne. Thank you, Gabby, for this awesome content. Ken, I don't know if you have any few words for the guys.
Yeah, I mean, I'll leave you guys with this. Obviously, ladies, thank you so much for your prep, for your effort, for your energy, your support for all these rising stars in the business. We have a very special, special business, in my opinion, where we can make a difference and give back. I would just say this, beyond the scope of your goals and sales and your career, you just kind of said it, Gurneet, the most common thing in your world is you. This is not a dress rehearsal, right? You are the main character in your movie. And the question is, what kind of movie, what kind of story, what kind of, life, what kind of opportunity, how do you want to be? I know and I've learned that how you are in your personal life, you show up in your professional life, and how you are in your professional life impacts your personal life. So if you carry yourself to a high standard, if you're on top of, and again, it's no surprise, that especially being so young into ownership, that she's doing pretty well. I don't know who else on this call. There's probably a few of us that get up at 6 a.m. this morning and hit the gym and took care of ourselves, right? And it is what it is. And I'm not saying hitting the gym is the answer to all your issues, but what I am saying is when you take care of yourself, you can give to other people. You have something to give and you feel good. And that energy is contagious and the vibes you put out is contagious. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, this all I'm gonna say, Gurneet, is I appreciate you too. I know Gurneet is we're talking a lot behind the scenes about getting these calls lined up so you guys know the speakers that are coming so you can be prepared. You can share it with your teams, maybe share in your crew meetings. Um, and share who's coming up so people can be more prepared and get more people on these calls. And our whole role again is just to help support you guys and provide time, a little small window to give back. And if people miss these calls, you can go onto the YouTube channel, Clear Channel, KLEAR channel on YouTube, and you can pass it on to your people if this content is valuable, and you share it with people in your teams. Our goal is to help change the world one leader at a time. And Gurneet, I know you're taking the lead role and putting all these calls together. We appreciate you for that. And let's have an amazing week. And we'll see you guys again.